Good day, guys. Welcome to another exciting episode of the WealthWise Show. I'm your host, the Wise Investor, and join me as we navigate the world of personal finance and equip you with the knowledge and tools to make wise financial decisions. Now, let's dive into today's episode of the WealthWise. Alrighty, guys. So today's episode is going to be a topical one. It is June 1st. So, if you're listening to this, June 1st, 2023. Anytime after that, this information could be wrong because this is the past, technically. So today I wanted to go over a kind of a hot topic that most people have been talking about, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the news. CNBC and other national news networks are posting about, if the U.S. defaults on its debt, what does that mean? What does that do for the U.S. economy and the global economy? So, since I am the wise investor, and part of my job is, especially as a financial advisor, is to impart wisdom and knowledge. And so today I want to discuss what it may mean for someone who's in the equity market, and particularly someone who might be in the bond market, the U.S. Treasury market. What does that mean? Because if you don't know, the U.S. Treasury market is tied to the U.S. debt. So how it works is the U.S. issues debt, which is bonds, bills, notes, and you can purchase that debt. And then just like any kind of debt, the U.S. will pay interest on it for a certain amount of time. And then when it's time for them to pay back, your money, to pay back the debt, they pay you back your principal and you keep the interest. So that's how that works. Usually they call it a maturity date. So when the debt matures, the U.S. would pay you back. But what if the U.S. has no money and defaults on that debt? Meaning interest payments are not getting paid, other bills are not getting paid, federal programs are not getting paid. Then yes, that will be extremely bad, because the U.S. is viewed as a ultra safe debt issuer. Like, they don't default on their debts, they pay their bills. It's been long viewed as the golden standard on repayment. Yes, doesn't mean they don't take on debt, but you got to keep in mind, when you're talking about the trillions of dollars of debt that the U.S. is in, it's a lot of that debt is tied up into the bond market, the U.S. Treasury market, I should say, when they issue that debt. So, if you're listening to this and you're in the U.S. Treasury assets, well, you're making up some of that debt for the U.S. government. So it's not like all those trillions of dollars is owed to the different countries, or China. It's debt that's been issued to people who are in America, who is giving basically a loan to the government and getting interest on it. So if they default on that, it could be pretty bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. A default like that could completely wreck the $24 trillion Treasury debt. It can cause financial markets to, go into chaos, and it can even potentially cause a international crisis. And that's something that no one wants. Back in 2008, I know people keep talking about 2008 and they don't kind of understand what happened in 2008. The housing market, the mortgage, people are not paying their loans essentially. that kind of shockwave was felt around the world. So we definitely don't want another one of those type of situations to be had. So that's pretty much a short and simple explanation. Yeah, it'll be bad, but is it going to be like, that's what I'm trying to look for. Like how likely can or how likely would the U.S. default on their debt? And I'm still in the camp of not very likely. Me personally, I'm in the camp of, you know, it would just cause too much irreversible damage for something like that to happen. And that's something that I'm not a political person at all. I'm neutral, and I have no opinions on any political parties or anything like that. But yeah, no one wants that. Either side, whoever is vying for power, of this country, both sides don't want that. So it's something that they would more likely work out, and it probably, since today is the first, it's something they're gonna probably work out pretty quickly. I think the last news that we had that it passed the House. Now it has to make its way to Congress. But yeah, me personally, as an investor, I'm going to wait and see. I'm not going to try to, tell my clients, yeah, go ahead and pull your money, or yeah, go ahead and put more money in. That's not something that I'm going to do. Let's wait and see, and then we can, go from there. Because what you don't want to do is jump the gun and make a decision, and now you have to find your way back in. So I'm in the wait and see approach, and that's what I'm planning on doing. And I know a lot of people are fearful because it's tied to so many different things in the government. But like I said, no one wants that. They're gonna probably stretch it out as long as they can. They're probably gonna stretch it out all up until 11:59 p.m. But I'm more so in favor of something getting done than nothing getting done, because that would just be bad for the average person. You know, the average person do not have that kind of money that a lot of these people who are making these decisions have. So, that would be pretty painful. But like I said, I'm pretty sure something will get done. They're just a bunch of, puffing up chests and all that good stuff. Well, not good stuff, but, all, theater, I can say. But, like I said, I wouldn't worry until it's time to worry. And then, we'll go from there, because unnecessary worrying will lead you to do things that otherwise rationale would not. So just keep that in mind. If you have a fiduciary, if you have, financial manager, a financial advisor, a money manager, talk to them and, get their opinion, not just mine or some other dude on YouTube or Spotify. But that's part one. I want to talk about, get that out of the way. But I also wanted to talk about, not just the crises, but just some of my thoughts on the market as a whole. Because right now, as this recording, the futures market is up. Let me see how much it's up by. The futures market is up. Where is it? About 27 points. 0.66%. So that's nice. And I'm looking at us to. I personally am still in the camp that we're overbought. This is not financial advice. I'm not saying, hey, go and I don't give financial advice on internets. You got to meet me in person or meet me over Zoom, one-on-one. Become my client, but I do not give financial advice. So this is not financial advice. This is just my analysis on the markets. So this is not saying go do something. Do not act on what I'm saying. Please don't, because like I said before, you never know. I can't tell the future. But I do feel like the markets, at least the futures markets, is overbought. And I feel like, maybe another, let's see here. I would say probably another percent, like one more, actually like 1%, from where we are right now is going to be, pretty much, I don't want to say pretty much it, but, I feel like there'll be a good time to, actually, let me double check that. Yeah, I would say 1.5%, another 1.5%, maybe 2%. I can definitely see that being, so I think that, another, like I said, 1.5%, or maybe 1.5%, 2%. And the reason being is my reasoning, my analyst, not my analyst, my analysis, is I'm looking at majority of the stocks in the S&P 500. And by the way, I should say, I am looking at the ES. So the ES is the symbol for the S&P 500 index futures. And I'm looking at the June contract. But if you take a look in the S&P 500 and you look at the companies in the S&P 500, a lot of those companies are nearing all-time highs, are hitting 52-week highs. So they're doing a lot of heavy lifting at the moment. And we're still nowhere near the all-time highs for the index. So that tells me that, the heavy lifting is being done by a few companies, not the whole S&P, as a whole. And usually if you have those companies doing the heavy lifting, they're going to be tired eventually, especially if they're hitting 52-week highs. So that's why I say, we might be a little overbought, because, the other stocks in the S&P 500, are not doing as much lifting as the top holdings. And, yes, 10, 15, 20 companies can, hold the market just a little bit. But you're talking about 500 companies versus 20. So, take that with a grain of salt and take it how you please. But that's just my personal opinion that, we're, another percent or two, and we should be nice and ready for at least a cool off. And if I'm looking to more, like, I personally, if I'm wrong, because I like to get both sides, one of the things I love to do is always ask, well, what if I'm wrong? What is the other side of if I'm wrong? And if I'm wrong, then congrats. But I'm not going to get excited and feel like I need to buy until we get a little bit higher. I would say if I'm looking at the S&P futures. Let me go to the continual contract. Yeah, so I probably wouldn't be super excited until we get past the 4300s and stay above the 4300s. And not just get up to the 4300s and come back down, but like get up there and stay up there. That's where I'm looking at for, for us to go. And as of right now, we're still like from this very moment, we're still about 12% from all-time highs. So, that's a lot of movement for these other companies to continue to move. If they're, I'm talking about if the other, 480 companies don't kick in. So that's my analysis. And I know that might be a little deep for some of the listeners. This podcast is going to come out probably today, the first. And I just did one, I think, Monday. So every now and then I'm going to do a like topical, just something I want to talk about episode. Not really like a real, hey, this is a educational teaching you something new. Hopefully I did teach you something new, but like the whole goal of it is to talk about something that's happening this week. So let's see. Yeah, it's gonna be short and sweet. Something a little bite-sized that hopefully you guys can gain some more knowledge. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. So that's gonna be it for another episode of the WealthWise Show. I'm your host, the Wise Investor, and thank you for joining me on this journey as we navigate the world of personal finance. I really hope you guys learned something, and got some practical tips to take control of your financial future. And remember, guys, this is a financial journey, and financial education is a journey, and I'm right here with you. So like I've always said, if you have any questions or any topics you'd like me to discuss, feel free to reach out through me. Feel free to reach out to me through my social media. So Instagrams, Twitters, YouTube, all that jazz. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm getting some video equipment today. So that should be up relatively soon. And guys, together, let's unlock the doors to financial independence and live our best lives. Until next time, stay wealth wise.